Hey, what's going on, traders? Go in two for four today. Had two trades on LI, one on Billy, one on JKS. All bigger companies, all not that great of a move. LI was pretty decent, but it was never really that great. LI was our first two trades. As you can see, had a nice little double top area here from yesterday's high. Got through that. Nice little extension away from that. Was really hoping for a bigger pop up through the $0.50, but we only got up to 57. We got short at 54 and was just looking for that retest of that previous high, which we ended up getting plus a little bit. Actually, it actually went all the way down towards 22 to 22.14, and then ultimately ended up getting bought back up and going through the highs. So now we got a new line to look for. 58 or 57, I think, was the high. Got through that, ended up making kind of a slower move, and then we finally got a decent little bar. Was really hoping again for the bigger move up towards that $0.50 and maybe through, but we didn't quite get it. Ended up getting short on the backside here. We ended up getting filled at, what did we get filled here? That's where these lines on DOS sometimes decide to mess with your arrows. What's going on? Here we go. 23.19. The high was 23.28, and we scaled out of this one pretty nicely. And we ended up making around $53 on the two of these trades. So I was pretty happy with that. Little unfortunate that we gave all that back in these next two trades. JKS actually started while I was in LI and was really just looking for that 53.50 test and through. Really wanted 53. I felt like even though we didn't get an ad up here, had we got an ad right here up at the new high here, it would have been 100% taking something off, probably 50, 75% right on this drop, but we didn't. So I was really still looking for about right here. And if you look at this previous resistance of 51 all the way up to the high, I mean, that's about 50%. So I don't think it was out of the realm of reality. Just so happens it didn't want to break down, and it kept trying. It had these top wicks. I was really confident. Every time I tried to go higher, it kept getting shoved down. So I've just put my stop at 55.01, saying if it wanted to break up through this area and then through 55, then so be it. It even tried here, got the 54.99 and rejected all the way back down. But as you can see, it just kept making higher lows, and eventually it decided to work. It did go high of day. Ultimately, it did end up coming back down, but it only got back down to that same area. So obviously there's some buyers sitting there, and it was just unfortunate that we didn't get that move back down. So I ended up losing $20 back there. Then we had Billy, and this one we managed pretty well considering. But as you can see, this thing grinded up pretty much all morning. Now, if we scroll out, you can see this thing was way down here. So it made a pretty huge move with absolutely no real pullback. So I was waiting for any kind of actual fast move. And if you look at these candles, none of them are really that big. But this 1890 area, we finally made a pretty nice candle here through that area on a lot of volume. So I saw that and I was like, okay, this is going to be a pretty good trade. Got in at the top of this candle, pretty much topped it 1933. We got in 1927, and I was just looking for the quick 19 retest. I was going to take 75% there and then see what it wanted to do, possibly get back down to at least that 1890 retest. But this thing had other plans. It just made that big move and then started grinding even higher. And it actually continued fairly quickly up through the $0.50. So that's actually where we ended up getting an ad at 1950. It was at 1960 was the high there. It did start to come down there, and it got down to around 1935 or so, something like that. Where did this close? Yeah, 1938. And it tried. We were pretty much break even on it at that point, but obviously I'm looking for that 19 retest with that ad. I was actually pretty happy. We had 200 shares looking for 19. I mean, if we could have somehow waited with the full size there, that's $100 right there. Obviously probably wouldn't have happened, but was at least looking for under that first entry of 1920s for the move back down. But as you can see, it had other plans and it decided to keep grinding. And it's a little unfortunate because you can see it started to go sideways. It tried to come down, got bought right back up, and then it started to come back down again. And that's when I actually hit it for another 200 shares, telling myself that if it broke the high there, I was just going to jump out those 200 shares that I added and go from there. It did exactly that. So you can see a red and green arrow, and then you're going to see it again. It comes up, starts to come back down, and I'm like, all right, that was kind of a fake out breakout. Had a nice little volume bar there. Let's do it again. And so I did the exact same thing again. I hit it with the intention of if it goes too high of day again, I'm getting an ad as close to that high, so that essentially if I'm wrong, I can just cut those shares for a minimal loss and allow it to continue doing its thing. So it would almost be like I'm just taking a separate trade right here, attempting to get more size in my average up. But if it doesn't work, I'm essentially trying to break even on those shares, even though I've lost like 10 cents twice on um, 200 shares. So that was about 40 bucks I gave away just trying to do this. Where if I would have just sat pretty to begin with, it might have ended up working out. But ends up making a top here. We end up getting in on the backside here. I waited for it to kind of confirm this time. I wasn't going to just chop myself to death, and we got a nice little drop. I had my final take profit here down at 19, was looking for that. If we got it, we would have been green on the trade overall. I think at one point I had $80 or so realized red on this trade. So we ended up doing pretty good, only losing 23. But a little unfortunate because it just wouldn't work out. It did try to go higher and then eventually come down and touch that 19. And I think this ended up going back up. Yeah, it went back to the highs, came back down again to that same 19, and now it's just grinding higher, it looks like, for the rest of the day here. So yeah. So just a frustrating day. $9.60 is what it says we're green. After commissions, it was $1. I went and checked, so it was about $8 in commissions. So hey, I mean, a green day is a green day, but a little frustrating because if these two trades could have went the other way, we could have been looking at another $100 day on our hands. But unfortunately, it wasn't in the cards today. And yeah, so still a green week overall. We didn't have a red day or anything all week. Just frustrating we didn't make more today, and that's all I got. So don't forget to like and subscribe. Always appreciate the support. If you do have any questions, comments, concerns, all that good stuff, you can leave it down below, or you can follow the links for Discord or Twitter in the description below. And I hope you have a good weekend, and I'll see you Monday. Peace.